Alert: Canadian political content at risk. Bill C-9 could wipe YouTube videos. Must watch. Canada is facing a growing online censorship crisis as Bill C-9 moves forward in Parliament, sparking intense debate nationwide. While the bill primarily focuses on judicial and economic reforms, it includes provisions that could give authorities expanded oversight over digital platforms like YouTube. Critics warn that this could place political commentary, activist videos, and critical perspectives at risk of removal, potentially restricting public access to diverse viewpoints and limiting the democratic function of online spaces that are vital for civic engagement. The core of Bill C-9 proposes amendments granting authorities the ability to classify certain content as harmful or inconsistent with Canadian values, which could compel platforms to remove or restrict it. Supporters argue these measures protect citizens and uphold societal norms, but opponents caution that such sweeping powers could create a chilling effect on free expression. YouTube creators, journalists, and advocacy groups fear that political content might be disproportionately targeted, suppressing debate, discussion, and active civic participation across Canada. Public reaction to Bill C-9 has been immediate, passionate, and highly polarized. Social media platforms, discussion forums, and live streams are flooded with commentary, analysis, and heated debates. Advocates in favor emphasize the importance of preventing misinformation, protecting public safety, and safeguarding Canadian values, while critics insist the bill risks excessive government control over online discourse. This ongoing debate has heightened national awareness about the future of digital political expression and signaled how crucial freedom of speech remains in Canada's democracy. YouTube functions as one of the most significant platforms for political engagement, offering space for creators to share insights, activism, investigative reporting, and grassroots commentary. If Bill C-9 enforces stricter regulations, platforms may feel pressured to remove content discussing government policies, social issues, or civic advocacy. This environment could discourage creators from producing political content, reduce audience engagement, and narrow the diversity of viewpoints available, weakening democratic participation at a time when Canadians rely heavily on digital media to stay informed. Content creators, especially those focusing on political and civic topics, are expressing concern about the implications of Bill C-9. Many depend on YouTube for outreach and revenue, and the threat of forced content removal could incentivize self-censorship. Independent creators may avoid controversial or sensitive topics to minimize the risk of penalties, account suspensions, or legal complications. This could create a stifling environment that prevents new voices from contributing to political dialogue, reducing access to diverse perspectives and critical analysis for Canadians nationwide. Legal experts and digital rights organizations have stressed the need for transparency, oversight, and adherence to constitutional protections. Freedom of expression is enshrined in Canadian law, and critics of Bill C-9 argue that any enforcement of content removal must respect these rights. Advocacy groups are monitoring the situation closely, preparing legal challenges, and engaging in dialogue with policymakers to ensure that any measures introduced do not infringe on democratic freedoms or restrict legitimate political discussion on platforms like YouTube. The implications of Bill C-9 extend beyond Canadian borders. Other countries are watching closely, as legislation regulating digital content could set a precedent for global online governance. Platforms like YouTube operate internationally, and decisions made in Canada may influence debates in the United States, Europe, and other regions about how to balance regulation of harmful content with freedom of expression. The potential global ripple effect underscores the importance of careful consideration, public consultation, and clear safeguards in the legislation. YouTube has become a central hub for civic engagement, enabling a wide variety of voices, including activists, journalists, and everyday citizens, to participate in public debate. Restricting political content on the platform could undermine this role, reducing public access to diverse opinions and factual information. Canadians rely on online media to stay informed about policies, government actions, and social issues, and removing political content risks narrowing the scope of public knowledge, limiting democratic engagement, and silencing critical discourse in digital spaces. Balancing regulation of harmful content with the protection of free expression is a delicate and complex task. While it is reasonable to address misinformation and online risks, any regulatory framework must ensure political commentary and civic discussion remain protected. Overly broad enforcement could create confusion, discourage participation, and empower authorities to suppress dissent. For democracy to function effectively, citizens must have open access to diverse political viewpoints, and platforms must be able to host content without fear of arbitrary takedown. As Bill C-9 progresses, public engagement and activism will play a critical role in shaping its final form. Citizens, creators, and platform operators need to stay informed, participate in consultations, and advocate for safeguards that protect democratic freedoms. Transparent legislative processes, oversight, and clearly defined limits are essential to ensure that content regulation does not become a tool for censorship, and that Canadians retain the ability to freely express opinions and participate in political discourse without undue restriction. The stakes for political content on YouTube are significant. Bill C-9 represents a potential shift in the balance of power between government oversight and public expression. If not carefully managed, the legislation could restrict what Canadians can post, share, or view, creating a more controlled digital environment. This could have lasting effects on civic engagement, political awareness, and online activism, influencing how citizens interact with each other and with their government, and potentially shaping the political landscape for years to come. Ultimately, Canadians must remain vigilant as Bill C-9 moves forward. The legislation highlights the tension between protecting society from harmful content and safeguarding democratic freedoms. The outcome will affect creators, viewers, and the broader public, shaping the availability of political content and the health of civic discourse in Canada. Staying informed, speaking out, and participating in discussions is essential to ensure that online spaces remain open, diverse, and free from undue censorship while balancing safety and accountability. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for latest updates.